Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Rob Vino and Tony Mejia of WagerTalk.com. We're talking rivalry weekend in college football, and arguably the biggest one of the weekend. We get the Iron Bowl, Alabama at Auburn, 3:30 Eastern on CBS Saturday, Tony. We're seeing the Alabama Crimson Tide minus 19.5 or minus 20-point road favorites, 55.5 being the total on the Plains, Jordan-Hare Stadium. What are you liking in the Iron Bowl?
Well, I would wonder if this spread would be as high as it is if it weren't for Auburn's faceplant over the last few weeks. And certainly they lose at South Carolina coming into this thing. Will they be waiting in the wings for Alabama to slip up? Because everybody knows this Iron Bowl has been really unpredictable over the past few years. From the kick six to the fact that Auburn's last victory in this series. They were outgained 515 to 354, and then still Auburn won 48-45. That was a game where Alabama missed a field goal and then got an illegal substitution penalty. Wow, what's going on with Saban? He's lost his way, and that team looks undisciplined. And then obviously, that's reactionary, and Alabama's just fine. But this particular Alabama team isn't as impressive as the last year's champions. We'll see what they are able to do against Georgia in the SEC championship game, but this team might not make the college football playoff. So what kind of killer instinct are we going to see against Auburn? It's the first installment of this Iron Bowl with Brian Harsin at the helm for the Tigers. So Nick Saban wants to send a message there with a big blowout victory. Certainly I've never been a fan of Bo Nix. He makes plays happen in terms of keeping drives alive with his feet. But, not that accurate a passer, not explosive. He's got receivers, too. I mean, this kid, Kobe Hudson, has stepped up. Demetrius Robertson's obviously, done it at two different schools now to the point where he can be respected as a number one, number two receiver. You wonder if they're able to have some success through the air, because I think they're going to need to throw. I think that Auburn defense isn't going to get stops. So Alabama will be able to have some balanced football. Be able to get some yards through the air and score points. I think that's my lean, just because this number is so inflated. I could see Alabama winning by 4 touchdowns. I could see Auburn coming in through the back door and getting the cover. Certainly, I think the Crimson Tide will win heading into Atlanta for their date with Georgia. But I just don't know by how much. I do like the total, though. I think we're going to see points in this game. I made the total at 58. For me, and I see that it's 55.5, so I like it even more. So from that standpoint, that's going to be my lean. It's going to be clear conditions, 58 degrees, so a really mild Saturday afternoon. Give me the over in Alabama Auburn. I think we'll see points in this Iron Bowl.
Sure, Tony. Looks like a beautiful day on the Plains here, Robbie. Speaking sidewise, Alabama, Nick Saban, he doesn't struggle in many stadiums. This is one he's had a tough time. I don't know if that speaks to Auburn staying within 3 touchdowns here. 20-point spread. What do you like it in the Iron Bowl, Robbie?
Well, I'll start with what Tony said about the line being a little bit padded. My power rating showed Alabama minus 14. Maybe I just don't downgrade enough, but I do base most of my power rating adjustments on, closing line and then margin of victory. So I don't know. This game, obviously, the bookmakers anticipate nothing but Alabama money coming, so they started extremely high. Alabama's probably a bit overpriced here. However, if I had a single ounce, Drew, of faith that TJ Finley could execute the passing offense, I'd probably be on Auburn. We saw it last week. Listen, Alabama's the 5th-rated rush defense in the country. Auburn's predicated on the run. Arkansas is predicated on the run. Arkansas couldn't run last week. Yet KJ Jefferson and Arkansas were able to throw for 358 against this defense. If I thought that TJ Finley could do anything like that, again, I'd be on Auburn, but I just have no faith in him whatsoever. I see he switched his jersey number to number 1. I guess he thinks he's Cam Newton now because he's at Auburn, but he's not Cam Newton. And I just, if they get behind here, I don't want to put a lot of faith in this kid bringing them back. KJ Jefferson did a great job bringing Arkansas back last week. Didn't score in the first quarter, but then when they started scoring in the second quarter, Alabama had no answers. And again, it was without a running game. Arkansas did it all through the air. Just not sure that Finley's going to complete 74% of his passes the way Jefferson did last week. And they got big chunks. Alabama's vulnerable, but I guess the question is, can Auburn take advantage of that vulnerability? Can Auburn stop Alabama's attack? That's an even bigger question. In 6 games against SEC West teams and Georgia, best offenses you can get, Georgia, Auburn's allowed 435 yards a game, and they give it up both ways, 152 on the ground, 283 passing. If you take a look at the Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas A&M games, all 3 of those teams ran for 200-plus against Auburn. 2 of those teams, Georgia and Arkansas, ran it and threw it for over 200 yards against Arkansas. The other 3 games, LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss, all 3 of those teams passed for over 300 yards against Auburn. So, boy, I don't know, Drew. It's a tall task for Auburn to prevent Alabama from scoring a lot of points here. And unlike the Michigan-Ohio State team, where I do think that that Michigan's got ability to score, and they've got a balanced enough offense. And I don't know that Ohio State's going to take anything away from them the way Alabama will take the run away from Auburn. You just don't have the faith that Auburn can score enough here. It would have to be one of those where they're extremely motivated, where Jordan-Hare is extremely motivated, where the fans are thoroughly excited. But I don't get that feeling this year, Drew, and you're closer to the program. Maybe you can help me out here, but I don't get the feeling. First of all, I don't think they really love the hire of Harsin. And I know they don't love the last 2 weeks, those losses against Mississippi State, where they had them 28-0. And then last week to South Carolina, a very pedestrian team with not much of an offense at all, and they lose that game. So I don't know how excited Auburn is. It's hard to say because the Iron Bowl is the Iron Bowl, and you would think that there'd be a lot of excitement. But, boy, I could see the air coming out of that stadium immediately if Alabama gets up 10-0, 14-0. That could be the end of the day for the fans supporting Auburn here. We'll see. I mean, 3 weeks ago, this looked like it could really be an important game in the SEC West. It is not that anymore. It's Auburn's Super Bowl. I just question the passing attack and the ability to do what Arkansas did last week to stay close to Alabama. I don't know that Auburn can do the same here.
Sure, Robbie. I mean, speaking towards the atmosphere, I think Jordan-Hare, the fans are going to bring it. I think the players, it's the Iron Bowl. They're going to be ready to rock. I wouldn't worry about, the kind of coming into the game. I mean, Auburn is 2-0 the last 2 in the Iron Bowl. Nick Saban, and it's one of the only, maybe the only stadium in the country that he's below 500 in. I mean, Auburn's 10-5 against Alabama in Jordan-Hare in the Iron Bowl. So those type of, I guess, intangibles, I think, point towards the Tigers, Robbie. It's just, the Jimmies and the Joes on the field. Alabama's got their eyes on making the playoffs. And like you talked about, the last 2 weeks, Auburn not playing very well. Does Finley have it, athletically speaking? I don't think so. But the ability to throw the football down the field, if they can turn that on somehow, I think they can stay within 20 points. But against Alabama, that's a big ask, Robbie. So I don't know. I think it's a tricky handicap. If you made me bet it, I'd bet on Auburn. But hey, I got to kind of admit here, I am an alum, and I'm not looking to bet against Auburn in the Iron Bowl, Rob.
One quick thing from me, I just think that the drop-off from Nix to Finley just isn't significant enough for me to downgrade Auburn offensively. And we've got Brian Harsin with, big bag of tricks and nothing to lose. And, that's the one thing that he does do well is find a way to extend drives. I think we'll see a fake punt here. If anybody's offering that prop, I say you jump right on it. So I mean that's what in terms of scoring in this Iron Bowl, I think we'll see points because if Auburn gets behind early, they're not going to quit on the game. You'll see desperation lead to some either bad decisions or things that will end up benefiting Auburn because again, wacky things happen when these two teams get together.
Yeah, fake punt, steal a possession. Look for something out of that from Auburn. Guys, enjoy the Iron Bowl. For Tony Mejia, Rob Vino, I am Drew Martin. Happy Thanksgiving. And guys, remember to check out WagerTalk.com. $9 Monday is a good day to do so. All plays, all handicappers discounted to just $9. WagerTalk.com.